There are moments in sport when victory no longer looks like joy. The arena is empty. The lights remain on. One man continues shooting long after everyone else has gone home. No cameras, no applause, only the sound of a basketball striking hardwood. For years, the world celebrated Kobe Bryant as the embodiment of relentless determination. 5 NBA championships, 2 Olympic gold medals, one of basketball's greatest scorers. The legend eventually acquired its own name, the Mamba Mentality. It is usually described as discipline, obsession, mental toughness. But those words describe only the surface. They do not answer a more difficult question. Why would a man who had already won almost everything continue living as though nothing was enough? Why train through injuries most athletes would have treated as reasons to stop? Perhaps greatness simply demands sacrifice. But history rarely rewards obvious answers. The more closely we examine Bryant's life, the less complete that explanation becomes. Many champions become more relaxed after reaching the top. Bryant seemed to move in the opposite direction. Every achievement raised the standard he demanded from himself. Victory never brought silence. It only created another expectation. Perhaps Kobe Bryant was never competing against other players. Perhaps his greatest opponent was always yesterday's version of himself. If that is true, every championship solved one problem, while creating another. The investigation begins there. Not with trophies, but with a question. Was the Mamba Mentality a philosophy of excellence, or a lifelong refusal to believe excellence was ever enough? Long before Los Angeles, long before championships, Kobe Bryant grew up in Italy while his father continued his professional basketball career overseas. He lived between different languages, different cultures, different expectations. By his own account, he often felt like an outsider. That alone cannot explain his personality, but it suggests an important possibility. When belonging feels uncertain, achievement can begin to replace identity. Improvement appeared to matter more than comfort. He studied. He practiced. He repeated every movement until it became instinct. Mastery became its own reward, not because it brought happiness, but because it temporarily answered one uncomfortable question. Am I good enough? Yet every improvement created another. Can I become even better? Perhaps Kobe Bryant was never chasing greatness. Perhaps he was chasing relief. And if that is true, no amount of success could ever have brought the peace he was searching for. By the time Kobe Bryant entered the NBA, one pattern had already become unmistakable. Improvement was no longer preparation. It had become identity. Many elite athletes train with extraordinary discipline. Bryant organized his entire life around becoming slightly better than he had been the day before. His work ethic became legendary. Early morning workouts, late-night shooting sessions, practicing long after everyone else had gone home. Not every story can be independently verified, but teammates, coaches, opponents, and Bryant himself consistently described the same pattern. Confidence, in his view, never came from talent. It came from preparation. If you have repeated something thousands of times, fear has less room to survive. That philosophy became the foundation of what the world would later call the Mamba Mentality. Yet another contradiction appears. If preparation reduces fear, why continue preparing as though it never disappears? Perhaps preparation was no longer protecting Bryant from failure. It was protecting him from becoming ordinary. That interpretation cannot be proven, but it remains consistent with his life. Bryant spoke constantly about learning. He studied great performers beyond basketball. He read. He analyzed films. He explored philosophy, languages, and storytelling. The public remembered intensity. The historical record reveals relentless curiosity. Perhaps the Mamba mentality was never only about winning. Perhaps it was about refusing stagnation. For someone whose identity depends on constant improvement, standing still may feel worse than failure. Then came one of the defining moments of his career. In 2013, Bryant ruptured his Achilles tendon. Most athletes would have collapsed. Bryant walked to the free throw line and made both shots before leaving the court. The moment became one of the defining images of his legacy. It is tempting to call it pure toughness. Perhaps it was. But another possibility deserves consideration. Sometimes, extraordinary endurance reflects courage. Sometimes it reflects an inability to give yourself permission to stop. Perhaps both were true. The audience saw resilience. Bryant may simply have been following the only rule he truly trusted. Keep going, no matter what. The championships returned. The respect became universal. But his standards never stopped moving. Every achievement created another expectation. Which brings us to the most difficult question of this investigation. If success never changed the relationship Kobe Bryant had with himself, what finally could? Retirement is often described as the reward for extraordinary careers. For Kobe Bryant, it became another beginning. He did not abandon the mentality that had defined him. He redirected it. Writing, storytelling, business, education. In 2018, he won an Academy Award for Dear Basketball. The arena had changed. The method had not. Perhaps Kobe Bryant was never addicted to basketball. Perhaps he was addicted to becoming better. Basketball was simply the first language through which that pursuit found expression. After retirement, another language replaced it. The Mamba mentality was never only about winning. Bryant spoke constantly about curiosity, learning, growth. The competitor remained, but so did the student. That changes the entire investigation. Championships were never the destination. Growth was. So why did a man who won everything continue treating his body and mind as a war zone? Perhaps because the battle was never against opponents. It was against limitation itself. No single theory can explain Kobe Bryant. He was a father, a mentor, a storyteller, a relentless competitor. Like every human being, he contained contradictions. Perhaps the Mamba mentality was never perfection. It was the refusal to stop growing. The empty arena returns. The lights remain on. The basketball still echoes across the hardwood. Only now, it sounds less like obsession and more like a question. Can I become better than I was yesterday? Perhaps that was Kobe Bryant's true legacy. Not 5 championships, not scoring records, but the understanding that excellence is never something you reach. It is something you choose. Every day. The Mamba mentality was never an invitation to become Kobe Bryant. It was a challenge to ask yourself one difficult question. Is discipline helping you grow? Or has it quietly become the measure of your worth? Because somewhere, long after the crowd has gone home, someone is still standing alone in an empty gym, not trying to defeat another player, trying to become someone they have not yet become.